The story begins when a group of mages offer up a young lady as a sacrifice to a dragon in a shrine. At first, she looks helplessly as the dragon emerges from another plane. However, when it fully emerges, it turns out she was bait to draw out the dragon who her group planned to seal. Using their sacred tools, they begin sealing the evil dragon called Daganzord. However, before the process is complete, the leader called Lord Barrow is shot from behind. The seal breaks and Dagan moves to attack Hero, Lord Barrow's son. To save his son, he uses magic to link his son with Dagan. Years later, there is a parade in town by a man called Nambucco. He throws money at the crowd who respond in a frenzy. While Hero observes, a group of friends scold Peshet for picking up Nambucco's money. In the Lord's mansion, we find that Nambucco is a dirty merchant. He persuades the Lord into selling all the city's magic stones to him alone. When the Lord refuses, he uses fear to make him submit. Nambucco's aide also reveals a treasure called the Grand Troa and offers to use it in the Lord's interest if they can come to an arrangement. Peshet sends his pet to steal the Grand Troa, but he is caught rather easily by Nambucco's aide. The following day, Peshet is bound to be executed in the town square. Hero tells his buddies to be at ease as he'll save Peshet. He shows himself and declares that a death sentence is too much of a punishment for theft. Immediately, Sharisharu orders the guards on him. They begin their attack, but Hero maneuvers his way around easily. Sharisharu then sends a lightning attack at Hero, who blocks it easily to her surprise. Hero reveals his sword and blitzes right through the guards. However, they are unhurt as Sharisharu notes he is wielding a knife. Just as he gets surrounded, his comrades named Juru and Palupa come to his aid. Sharisharu reveals the Grand Troa, which Hero recognizes to be his father's sealing treasure. After enhancing her magic, she sends an ultra big ball of attack their way, but this gets deflected into the mountains. Just then, Daganzord emerges for the first time in years. Daganzord and Hero's crest immediately synchronize, but this only makes Hero charge at the dragon. When they make contact, he is electrocuted by its magic and ends up collapsing. The soldiers begin firing their measly arrows at the dragon, so when Hero's life is put in danger, Daganzord shades him from the attack. The dragon continues to destroy the city until he suddenly stops and disappears. Some days later, Hero wakes up with only Daganzord in his mind, so Torment taunts his sword skill to calm him down. In town, Hero and the party try to get something to eat, but the store owners want nothing to do with the troublemakers. A cat-like girl then offers to show them where they can purchase food easily. At the restaurant, the girl reveals she knows about Hero's father. This makes everyone up their guard, so she introduces herself as Aaron before leaving. Back at Torment's base, Hero reveals he is still interested in going after Nambucco. He is discouraged by Juru, who tells him to work on his swordsmanship skill more or he won't survive in the wilderness. Afterward, Juru takes Hero out to learn to fight monsters. They start from the weakest monster, slimes, but they prove to be beyond Hero's abilities as he calls them dangerous. While he sulks, a sand dragon appears behind Palupa, so Hero gets motivated and launches an attack on him. The attack from his knife has no effect, so Palupa begs him to run away. Just then, the dragon opens up its mouth to reveal a beautiful girl. The girl hugs Hero, remarking that he has a heartbeat of a pure soul. She introduces herself as Serato and begins to familiarize herself with Hero. Juru arrives from monster hunting and becomes suspicious of the girl, but Hero makes him realize how harmless she looks. They decide to leave her alone in the desert and return to town. In the evening, she finds her way to Hero in the kid's base. When he asks how she found him, she reveals she can find important things and adds that where he is, where she will be. The following day, Serato watches as Hero trains in the wilderness. Suddenly, the slimes disperse to reveal the presence of a wolf monster. Hero attacks the charging monster but is thrown aside easily, leaving nothing between Serato and the monster. Hero rises to attack the monster regardless of the risk, and this time, he manages to defeat it. When Serato notices his injuries, she heals them along with his damaged clothes. In town, a man is being forced by soldiers to go work in the mines. Seeing his son cry, Hero is touched and decides to become a champion of justice. However, he is struck down and taken away to work in the mines also. In the Lord's mansion, he suddenly notices a strange noise in his safe. He goes to open it only to find out his ledger is gone. Torment reveals himself as the thief and threatens to reveal the dirty dealings recorded in the ledger to the king. Just as Torment gets captured by the Lord's elite guards, Juru arrives, and with his overwhelming strength, they get the ledger, which they use to negotiate the release of Hero and the captured villagers. The next day, Juru forces Hero to fight the annoying slimes as usual. This time he becomes fed up, stating that he is done fighting slimes and wants to resume his quest to defeat Daganzord. Meanwhile, Aaron takes Serato to a hot spring in the hopes of learning more about her. It turns out Sharisharu was also having a bath in the spring. She obstructs Aaron's plan by bringing talk about a monster of the lake with a bounty on its head. In the wilderness, Hero engages Juru in an encounter that doesn't go his way. He gets angry and makes a killer move which startles Juru, making him hurt Hero in the process. They quickly take him to the hot springs, and when they arrive, it begins to heal his deep wound. When Hiro recovers, Juru reveals he was only testing his resolve, and now that he has proven it, they can embark on their journey. As they converse, Sharisharu's minions release the monster meant to attack Hiro. Instead, it ignores her orders and goes after Cerberus. Juru quickly attacks the monster and defeats it rather easily. Hiro locates Cerberus thanks to the coin with her, but then Torment makes the situation awkward by reminding them they are naked. Later, Torment decides to join Hiro on the journey, leaving behind his friends. They also find Eren, who negotiates her way into joining their team with her map. On their way, the team is attacked by a giant bird, so everyone except Juru seeks shelter. Hiro charges at the beast and almost gets hurt before Juru intervenes. Meanwhile, Nambuko continues his arms trade by selling a new type of weapon to the Bonus and also the Kilias, who are in a border struggle. Hiro's group finds a plane sparkling with salt, which Palupa remarks would sell for a high price. Just then, Sharisharu and her team of knights and monsters arrive to attack them. Hiro charges at Sharisharu alone, so she attacks with her lightning magic, knocking him down. She then uses ice magic on him and breaks his sword in the process. Although disadvantaged, Juru fights hard to create an opening to rescue Hiro. Palupa summons Mumu, a being with his card, and with it, the three make their escape ahead of the others. On his way to save Hiro, Sharisharu attacks him with a powerful magic that splits the earth and binds him in place. Sharisharu then begins tormenting Hiro. When she reveals she plans to kill Juru, Hiro snaps and becomes possessed. In the fury, he defeats all the knights present except for Sharisharu and the commander. She quickly teleports, and at the same time, Hiro's malevolent rage stops. Mumu completes Palupa's request by appearing where Juru lay unconscious. As soon as Cerberus heals him, they quickly move to locate Hiro but are shocked to find only enemy corpses at the scene. Meanwhile, Nambuko meets up with another client in the desert. He instructs Dr. Bafalapa, his scientist, to demonstrate the power of the new weapon using life specimens. The weapon creates a haze that melts the orcs and humans into a mass, thus creating a hybrid monster, and upon seeing this, Hiro confronts Nambuko, who decides to handle him himself. However, Hiro soon discovers that he doesn't have his weapon with him. Still, he engages Nambuko and is beaten and captured easily, just as Nambuko moves to torture Hiro to gain information. His client makes a complaint, so he goes out hoping to please her. Hiro manages to free a leg and reveals his charm, which allowed him to cut himself loose. Just then, Dr. Bafalapa catches Sarasota's scent, and this leads him to Hiro. While he is distracted, Hiro assaults him, hoping to use him in his plans to escape. However, Dr. Bafalapa realizes Hiro's fate is intertwined with Cerberus. He hands Hiro a potion, which he drinks and immediately teleports to where Cerberus and the others are. After explaining his encounter with the doctor, Juru comes up with a hypothesis that Hiro's and Daganzord's hearts were switched, and that's why it protected him during the previous battle. The realization that his life and that of the dragon he hates are linked takes a toll on Hiro's emotions. Palupa and Juru try to take his mind off the matter by narrating tales from his childhood, but Hiro is disinterested. Palupa then reveals Juru, who is supposed to be a swordsman, has been learning about magic for his sake. This interests Hiro, and in no time, he cheers up and reveals all he has to do to salvage the situation is to obtain the Grand Troa and switch back his heart. Meanwhile, Eren finds her way to Nambuko, and here she sells information about Hiro's dragon form to him. She gets rewarded with the Alshana and quickly goes on her merry way. As soon as the group finds a town, Hiro reminds them the priority is to get him a new sword. They go to a weapons shop where Hiro begins choosing long swords. However, with Juru's direction, they go for a smaller one. During dinner, they learn that Cerberus is friends with Master Theo, who used to be Lord Barrow's doctor. They then decide to search for him next. At night, the town comes under attack by a shadow monster, so Hiro quickly rushes to the center of it. They soon find out the shadow is that of Daganzord, and he has arrived to please his appetite. The shadow moves to attack Hiro, but Juru protects him. As a result, his feet get stuck on the floor, and just then, Sharisharu reveals herself as the mastermind behind the attack and not Daganzord. While Juru gets swallowed up by the shadow monster, Hiro becomes enraged and reveals his dragon form. Meanwhile, Eren saves Juru from certain death. On the other hand, Hiro's rage somehow summons Daganzord, and when Juru goes to calm him, he is struck down by an enraged Hiro. Seeing he is safe, Daganzord goes back into hiding while Hiro regains his senses. Later, Juru awakens in a terrible state at their lodging. Hiro asks Cerberus to heal him, but she reveals the kind of injury isn't one she can heal. Juru then instructs Hiro to avoid using the dragon's power, as he might not be able to revert to a normal human the next time. He falls unconscious again, so the group begins looking for a way to treat his injury. Luckily, Eren shows up and reveals she knows the location of Serafuria. Upon hearing this, Hiro and Cerberus quickly set off on the half-day's journey to obtain the medicine. After they leave, Torment reveals to Palupa and Eren that Cerberus doesn't eat and might be a spy working for Nambuko. He also states that he finds it weird that she has never smiled. While searching, Hiro and Cerberus encounter a giant frog who attacks them. They make a run for it and find themselves in a plane. Luckily, they also found the Cerberus plant. When Hero tries to take it, he accidentally awakens a glow tortoise on whose back the plant grew. Meanwhile, Eren reveals that the three great kingdoms are preparing for war thanks to Nambuko spreading the rumor that Daganzord has been captured. She adds that their travel plans would be halted if war breaks out, and so they have to act fast. Hero manages to get the Cerberus plant and falls in the process. Cerberus catches him, and for the first time she smiles wholeheartedly. Juru has now recovered after taking his medicine, but then Torment brings news that children are being sent to work in the mines. The following day, they continue their journey and soon find Master Theo waiting in the mountains as if expecting their arrival. While leading them up the mountain, Master Theo explains that Barrow and Bafalapa were his students and expresses displeasure regarding that the group didn't bring any gifts. Later, they explain Hero's situation to Theo, and surprisingly, he tells them he has no advice to offer. He adds that the dragon is too powerful to be meddled with. He then proposes a training session with Hero, and before he begins he sends Juru off to get meat and Torment water. For the training, he first instructs Hero to walk in a straight line. Next, he has him fold a drawing of Cerberus, and after he does, he instructs him to unfold it. Meanwhile, Eren uses the Alshana to obtain information about the state of the continental war from each nation. Next, Hero is asked to pick up a stone and toss it to where he decides. When he does this, Theo observes a glow on the floor. Hero finally snaps from all the weirdness and demands to train with his sword. Theo then demonstrates an invisible blade technique called the Koku Blade. When Hero tries it, he produces a faint amount of magic, but the others notice the real impact of his magic. At night, Theo reveals to Juru how great Hero's latent magic power is. He then narrates what happened during the Koku Blade exercise and how he was hit by the magic. The next morning, Theo instructs Hero to cut him with the Koku Blade as his final exam. Although he takes the stance and performs the move, nothing visible happens. However, it turns out only mages can see the attack, and it was quite a strong one. Hero and the party finally arrive at the desert before Nambuko's domain. However, they are quickly attacked by his hawk monster. They are again frustrated by how Nambuko finds them easily, but soon find out Eren is the traitor. Juru decides to leave her behind despite her being their travel guide. Meanwhile, Sharisharu on Nambuko's request goes into the fusion machine to be fused with a monster. After the first day in the desert, Palupa slips into a sand pit made by a Jangalo monster. Everyone begins panicking about what to do, but then Eren arrives with a rope to pull him out. Soon after, they encounter a massive sandstorm that engulfs them all. After it passes, the group gets separated into 3 different pairs. Hero breaks down, so Cerberus is left to cater for him. Meanwhile, Eren and Juru meet up with their sick partners in tow. They soon find an oasis and quickly jump into it to be refreshed. Sharisharu with her enhanced body locates Hero and Cerberus, and she successfully puts Cerberus down and teleports with Hero. She brings him to Nambuko's mansion, where he comes face to face with Nambuko again. When he attacks, Nambuko showcases his superior skill. He reveals to Hero that he was the one who fired at his father during the sealing ceremony 10 years ago just so he can profit off Daganzord's chaos, which angers Hero so much that he attacks again. But this time Nambuko disarms him completely. In the desert, the group begins their search for Hero. With no leads, Eren uses the Alshana to locate Cerberus. Although they find her, Juru reveals she is making a drumbeat that attracts dragons. A dragon arrives and swallows her, so Juru moves to attack it. However, she reveals that it is friendly and wants to take them to Hero's location. The dragon takes them to Nambuko's domain, which they remark isn't a site fit for an arms dealer. Just then, the dragon is attacked, so they crash before reaching the floating castle. Just as they are about to give up hope, Dr. Bafalapa arrives to meet Cerberus. He creates a magic door for himself, so the others let themselves in as well. Inside, it is revealed that Cerberus is a magic doll originally created on Nambuko's orders. The doctor explains that they used a crystal from Daganzord's wounds to create her. However, Dr. Bafalapa created a kind, pretty girl instead of a weapon. Cerberus reveals she wants to be with Hero, but the doctor disagrees, stating he must hide her from Nambuko. This leads Cerberus to disobey him and flee in search of Hero. The others follow while Cerberus leads them to the control room where Nambuko and Sharisharu have Hero by the sword. It turns out Nambuko planned to capture Cerberus along with Hero, and with this success, he teleports away with both of them. They arrive at Balbagoa, the exact spot where the tragedy happened 10 years ago. The beginning of the eclipse dawns the hour of the ultimate dragon. Sharisharu then reveals they plan to merge the soldiers of all 3 great nations with Daganzord using the magic from the ruins in the castle. Just then, Nambuko broadcasts that all the souls of the residents of the castle would be turned into magic, including that of Sharisharu. This enrages her, who thought she was special to Nambuko. She then tries to teleport, but it doesn't work as the magic in the castle has been sealed. Over at Balbagoa, Dr. Bafalapa tries to stop Nambuko's plan, so he is struck down as a result. Nambuko then summons the power of Daganzord sleeping within Cerberus and orders her to fight Hiro. Now under his mind control, she attacks Hiro without hesitation. With no options left, Palupa summons Mumu, but she reveals she can't do anything to the closed barrier. However, when everyone contributes excessively to foot her bill, she changes her mind. She shoots a powerful cannon which creates an opening for them to escape. Meanwhile, Hiro falls into despair and transforms into his dragon form. The two dragonkins begin their battle, and at the same time, the group along with Sharisharu arrive. She quickly betrays them by attacking Juru even after being left for dead by Nambuko. The battle between Hiro and Sharisharu continues to move in her favor, and so when she moves for the finishing blow, Daganzord appears as expected. Nambuko immediately activates his fusion machine to fuse him with the soldiers. Although the process is completed, this doesn't stop Hiro from attacking, and as a result, he receives the beating of his life from an all-powerful Nambuko. Just as Hiro is about to be erased by the soul-destroying flames, the group with the help of Dr. Bafalapa manages to deactivate the reactor. However, Nambuko still fires the attack. He then stabs Cerberus right in front of Hiro, making him extremely angry. Hiro then attacks by cutting off his arm, and then he stabs Nambuko in the heart and ends him. This only makes the main disaster. Daganzord emerges once again. Thinking fast, Hiro decides it'll be best to take his own life since it is linked with the dragons. But then he remembers Theo's teachings, and using the Grand Troa, he creates a powerful Koku blade and slays the dragon with it. This reveals his heart, but instead of taking it for himself, he uses it to revive Cerberus. After the battle, thanks to Eren's information-broking skill, the three armies retreated to their territories. And this brings the anime to an end. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.